Hello, everybody out in the world. This is Allison coming from Balloon Art by Merrymakers. I am going to be building my next Valentine balloon display. It is an ombre heart sculpture with curlies on the pole. So I've already pre-wrapped a pole. As you can see, I'm going to put it right up here on the table, which it barely fits. So we'll put it in here. We're going to be using this ombre heart right here, which is a beautiful one. We are also going to be using a script love, which is great. And then we also have some latex that we're going to be putting in there. So this is just a video showing me putting some of my sculptures together. I am promoting right now for Valentine's Day, of course. I developed my new website, which is balloondeliverables.com. And if you were in northern Colorado, or you are in Greeley or Denver or Cheyenne, Wyoming, any of those places along the Front Range, I can deliver balloons to you for Valentine's Day or any occasion. So today is Valentine's Day we're talking about. However, I have so much stuff in my brain. And since I don't have a storefront, you guys don't get to see them. A lot of people know what I can do, and they hire me for big giant events, and I create all these really fabulous sculptures. But this is a real passion of mine, is to develop smaller, more affordable sculptures that people can give every day to their family, loved ones, kiddos, whatever it may be. So this one is called the Ombre Heart Column, and I'm going to start with chrome gold, and I've already pre-inflated my quad. So we're going to put the quad on the bottom. I'm going to move these guys out of the way for right now. And of course, since this video only covers so much, you're only going to be able to see a little bit of what I'm doing. So here's the second one. And then at the top, I'm going to put this down on the floor. I'm going to put a wild berry at the very top. And actually, I do want to try to get up as close to the top as I can. And directly underneath that, I've got another wild berry quad, which I'm going to nestle up underneath that one. Crazy. So I'm going to put that there, and then we'll try this again. The amazing thing about balloons is sometimes they want to be, and sometimes they don't want to be. And being the balloon artist, I try to tell them what they're going to be. So, so now the next thing we're going to do, so now what we have is we have something that kind of looks like this. So it has the rose gold at the gold at the bottom, and then we have the quad at the top. And so my next thing that I need to do to make this fabulous is I'm going to create curlies. So I'm going to stretch this balloon. I have a hand pump here, and this hand pump is going to allow me to make a really nice curly. I twirl it up on my hands. Usually it works the first time really great. Lift it up, and then I'm going to start airing it up, and you'll see that it will come out, and it should come out in a perfect twirl. That one did not. So I'm going to re-stretch, and actually I'm probably going to just get a new one, because if I try, I normally would manipulate that one until I got it right, but this one I'm just going to go again. The reason I stretch the balloon is because it gives me a more consistent swirl. So that one worked out a lot better. So I've got to make 3 of these. I've got one that is in gold, one that is in pink, I'm a little rusty from doing twisting elements. So there's my pink one. And then I have a wild berry because we're going in a variance of color, right? Which is ombre. And so now I've got my wild berry pink. I can try to keep it up top for you. There you go in the video. All right, there's my wild berry pink. So what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to create this fun little thing where it goes around the pole. So I'm going to tie this in at the top so that it doesn't get away from us. And then I'm going to wrap it around the pole in the way that it wants to go around the pole. So sometimes these balloons, they kind of have a mind of their own and they don't want to necessarily do what you ask them to do. Then I'm going to take a bubble out of the next color, my pink one, and I'm going to make a bubble out of the berry. So that's what we have right now. And then I'm going to add this one. And then the last one, of course, is going to be the gold. And I will back this off and you'll get to see what my whole garage looks like. Because this is where my studio is. It's where all the magic happens in the world. And unfortunately, you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm wrapping this around. And then I'm going to just tie this into the bottom quads so that it doesn't get away. Because remember, we've already talked about that. So this is what we have right now. So you can see we have coming out of the bottom, coming up like this, and it kind of changes color as it goes along. Now I forgot to make a quad for the wild berry, but the pink one I'm going to wrap it. So this is called a quad, which is 4 of the same size balloons all tied together. I'm going to wrap this in the middle of the sculpture. Let me see. So what I'm doing is I'm wrapping it around that connecting point between the two, the pink and the gold, to where it's actually holding it onto the pole. So this quad is now holding this curl onto the pole. I would also put one right here that is actually wild berry, but apparently I didn't make it. So we're gonna just let that go. And then I'm gonna start adding what we're putting on the top here. And I'm gonna see if I can move our whole production back a little bit without knocking everything over. Hi. I know, nothing awkward like being up close to impersonal. All right. So there. This little guy's kind of awkward. So here we have our curlies. And so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take my ombre heart and I'm going to tie a balloon to the bottom. And there are tricks to this. If you are watching this video to learn from me, then you might miss some of these. If you are already a balloon artist and you see some tricks that you love, you will feel free to private message me. I will give you as much information as I possibly can. So you didn't see what I did, but you can see there's no tab on here anymore. So the inflation tab is missing. So I tied the 260 balloon, which is what I use a lot of because I have a ton of them and it just makes sense. So I tied it around the tab and then I rolled the tab up all the way to the end and then I retied it again, creating this very fun little nozzle. Let's see if you can, it's pretty hard to see. Okay, so this little guy, or big guy if you will, I'm going to tie into the top of this column. And the real beauty of this is that this is an air-filled design. So helium, many of you may not know, is a non-renewable resource. And occasionally, we get these really horrible experiences where we don't have enough helium in the world to both do the balloon industry and do the medical industry. So as you can imagine, the medical industry gets priority over the balloon industry. This is a duplet. All I'm doing with the duplet is I'm gonna just set it in the middle, and that will give this little section here a little bit of something to, it's hard to not build this straight on and see what I'm doing. It just gives it something visual to look at as opposed to looking at the connectivity of what's happening inside. And actually, I may be able to just do it without. I think I kind of like it without. So let me see what we've got here. So we now have our curlies. I'm missing one right here. I will go ahead and just put the duplet in here just to hold it in place for now so you can see it. And then the last thing I'm going to do with this column is I'm going to add the love script to the top of it, or to the front. Back this up a little bit. Maybe you can see it better. So the love script looks like this. And I am just going to add this to the top and front. And I use U-glue dashes is my primary thing to use. I have many other things that I can use, but this is one that I use quite a bit of. And this sculpture is now something that you can order through balloondeliverables.com, and you can send this to your loved one. You can also send this to your kiddos. So I'm going to try to pick up my computer here, and I'm going to walk even further back. You'll see I do a lot of things in my garage. Here's the whole kit and caboodle. And it is a beautiful deliverable sculpture. Here's the inflation station over here. You guys get to see all the fun stuff. And so thank you for watching. Do check out my website. We have the Adopt a Grandparent on there as well. If you want to adopt a grandparent, we send balloon buddies to folks in retirement homes, nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and send them a big hug. And we'd love that too. So happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. And celebrate everything until further notice.